and I've already mentioned him because you took a point of care test in the early hours of the morning from him, was in that night, and he was in bed 6, opposite. He says he saw that this male in bed in distress. He describes this male, he says he was in a fetal position, moaning and groaning, and he states this was some 2 hours before his condition was noticed. That's not how you're describing, is it, Click?
No comment.
In fact, what you say on the 23rd of the 12th in your statement, 2011, there was nothing about this patient that gave me concern. He moved to the bed himself, went to the toilet okay, was walking by himself. He moved his IV stand with him and sat up in bed. He was perfectly fine. He had not caused me concern during the night. He's mentally alert, he knew what he was doing. This is as much as I can remember. This is clearly contradictory to what he's saying, isn't it? How do you explain this?
No comment.
Now, according to you, you were keeping observations on Mr. because you put him on a heart monitor due to his rising pulse at 6 a.m. How did you not notice him moaning and groaning in a fetal position for 2 hours?
No comment.
Is it because you knew I was in distress?
No comment.
Because you'd poisoned him?
No comment.
With insulin?
No comment.
At 7 a.m, you complete a set of further observations on the patient, showing him to have an early warning score of 2, showing him as alert on that chart. Now at this time, we know had been poisoned at least an hour before, and is severely hypoglycemic, and he would have been showing obvious symptoms, i.e. moaning and groaning and curled up in a fetal position. Why don't you make any mention of this in your notes?
No comment.
Why didn't you provide any medical assistance to Mr.
No comment.
Is it because having poisoned sometime between 4:34 and 6 a.m, you were leaving it for the morning staff to discover his condition and to divert suspicion from yourself?
No comment.
At 7:30, Mr. was taken over by a nurse and you went off duty. At 8:15 that day, Mr. is found in a coma. His blood glucose levels measured 0.9 and this is described as catastrophically low. I would suggest this evidence proves you took the blood sample at a time when he was gravely ill. You intentionally concealed his medical condition to ensure maximum harm to him. It also implies that at 4:24 you were aware that contaminated products were in circulation on the ward and that you intentionally poisoned the patient. Did you contaminate medical products with insulin and distribute them around the ward, A1, on this night?
No comment.